The conflict between Palestine and Israel is a long and complex one that dates back to the early 20th century. Here is a brief history of the conflict. Late 1800s, Zionism, a movement to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine, begins to gain momentum. 1917, the Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government, expresses support for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. 1920, the League of Nations grants Britain a mandate to govern Palestine. 1936 to 1939, Arab Palestinians stage a 3-year-long rebellion against British rule and Jewish immigration into Palestine. 1947, the United Nations approves a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. Jewish leaders accept the plan, but Arab leaders reject it. 1948, Israel declares independence, triggering a war with surrounding Arab countries. The war results in Israel gaining control of more land than had been allotted to it under the UN partition plan, and many Palestinian Arabs flee or are forced to leave their homes. 1949, armistice agreements are signed between Israel and its neighboring Arab countries, and a green line is established as the de facto border between Israel and the West Bank and Gaza Strip. 1967, Israel wins a decisive victory in the Six-Day War, gaining control of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem, among other territories. 1987 to 1993, the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli rule, takes place in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. 1993, the Oslo Accords are signed, creating a framework for peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. 2000 to 2005, the Second Intifada takes place, resulting in thousands of deaths on both sides. 2005, Israel withdraws its settlements from the Gaza Strip. 2006, the militant group Hamas wins Palestinian legislative elections. 2008 to 2009, Israel launches a military operation in the Gaza Strip, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of Palestinians and several Israelis. 2014, Israel launches another military operation in the Gaza Strip, resulting in the deaths of over 2,000 Palestinians and over 70 Israelis. The conflict between Palestine and Israel remains ongoing, with continued violence, settlement expansion, and disagreements over borders, refugees, and the status of Jerusalem. The situation between Israel and Palestine is complex and multifaceted, with different perspectives and interpretations of events. Here are some of the reasons that are often cited for Israel's actions towards Palestinians. Security concerns. Israel often cites security concerns as the main reason for its actions towards Palestinians, including the use of force, arrests, and building of settlements. The Israeli government argues that these measures are necessary to protect Israeli citizens from attacks by Palestinian militants. Occupation. Israel has occupied the West Bank and Gaza Strip since the 1967 Six-Day War. Palestinians argue that the occupation is a violation of international law and has led to human rights abuses, such as restrictions on movement, land confiscation, and settlement building. Settlements. Israel has built settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, which Palestinians view as a major obstacle to a future independent state. The construction of settlements often involves the confiscation of Palestinian land and homes, and has been condemned by the international community. Political differences. There are political differences between Israel and the Palestinian leadership that have led to tensions and conflicts. For example, the Palestinian leadership has sought recognition of a state, while Israel has opposed this move, arguing that it would undermine the peace process. Historical grievances. The conflict between Israel and Palestine has deep historical roots and is tied to issues such as land ownership, national identity, and religious differences. These factors have contributed to a long-standing cycle of violence and mistrust between the two sides. It is important to note that there are different perspectives on this issue, and opinions on the reasons for Israel's actions towards Palestinians can vary widely depending on one's political and ideological stance.